Right guys, it's Ryan from RJ Martindale. I run 2 plumbing and heating companies in the Northwest. This week I'm going into Ali Marketing to talk about our marketing plan and budget. A few cash flow issues to deal with, and we need to get Theo, one of our apprentices that is nearly qualified, in a van, ready to go and earning some money. And also whatever else goes on in this crazy business. Let's go. At the start of the week, I go in to see Paul at Ally. Ally are our marketing agency that look after BHE and RJ Martindale. Initially it was just BHE, and then I pulled them more into RJ Martindale. So we soon get onto the topic of budget, not having enough budget, and what we do with the budget that's there. I want to sort out the website for RJ Martindale. I think it's very cold. It just needs work. It's been there for 3-4 years. We've not done anything to it. It's not performing as well as I want it to do. So we'll talk about that. Landing pages versus website, a little bit on that digital stuff, which I've still not put any real money into a digital marketing plan as of yet. So yeah, I'll let you listen to that conversation.
It is looking tired. I don't think it does you justice. I don't think your brand is pitched particularly well. We've mocked up quite a few typos and we've done some light edits.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Well,
so
specialists, if you will, that have spoke to in the past, love the idea of just creating separate landing pages.
I think it's because it's dead easy to track, isn't it? So you know that any lead that comes from a landing page that looks pretty much the same as this,
yeah,
you can then link back, track it back to Google Ads. I know you can link anyway, but it's nice if you're running several campaigns.
I know we're kind of veering off a little bit here from what we're doing, but I'm just thinking like longer term. I want this website performing. I want a digital strategy. Another line in here, another customer acquisition line that is strong, and drop what we don't need.
You know what I'm going to say? Budget.
Well, yeah,
and
but I want some like conviction behind yourself, thinking right. Well, if we do this, like I believe in. Making it like we can make it happen.
It's how much of a priority is it? We've got our list of other, what I think priorities on that board, other things that we need to discuss. And it's where does the RJM's website fit within that?
Yeah.
So it's definitely a topic of conversation and timescales as well.
What in an ideal world we need Scott, Dan, and Luke installing 13 to 15 installations a week.
Mm-hmm.
But if random installation guards are busy, I'm okay. And then we've got Connor and Stuart that they're definitely not where they need to be.
Mm-hmm.
They're okay, but I want a consistent flow of leads into them off through their website, through BHE website or whatever they're doing that is specific for what they can do.
Which is
You see where I'm coming from?
Oh yeah, I know, you want it all and you want it now.
Not even necessarily all, and now it's just like, go on.
The picture is we spent the last 6 months or so working on the groundwork, and the point of this meeting, the purpose of this meeting is to sit down and make this project more strategically led.
Okay.
And that's really that's our spend up there, and that's it.
I know.
So is that enough to keep 2 lads busy 5 days a week?
No, the work, when you look at the work, like the home care stuff, it only pays dividends that 3-4 years.
Yeah.
It's that gap that's tough.
Yeah.
Bridging it, because you're doing it as a loss really, going service and stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's the reactive stuff like breakdowns, but then again, is it just the time of the year?
Only because I want to start us working more strategically from as soon as possible, certainly from July.
Yeah.
We should be working more strategically. We should have a marketing plan and we should be working month to month. This is why we need to understand your priority, because there's shitloads we need to work through, and we've got a finite budget.
Yeah.
And the problem is that we're going to spread that budget so thinly, it's like whack-a-mole.
Yeah.
We never
Whack-a-mole.
Yeah. So we don't achieve one big thing because we're fiddling with RJM's website, socials, BHE, we've got ads, we've got a bit of print, we've got the client list, we've got some email marketing for both brands, we've got some flyers, we've got some van artwork. You see what I mean? You know, this budget is potentially being spread so thinly.
Sorry. Say that again, what you just said.
Oh, give me strength.
What
I'm
did you
trying
say?
to have a moan at you. You're
Alright,
not
yeah,
even
go
fucking
on.
listening.
Right, do that again, yeah.
Right. The logo's too tall.
I like that
You've
bottom
got all
one.
this.
I like that bottom one. And then you've got your different style of little flames there as well, haven't you?
Yeah.
I think it's probably just like getting my head around it, you know.
Okay.
Changing stuff up.
So that was the tap. Then we got the boiler cover, graphic.
Cool. Good picture, I like that.
Are you happy?
Always happy.
Don't just say that.
It's just progress, isn't it?
Yeah. Still a lot to do, but.
Yeah. Like you just, I don't know.
When you was living it up in Dubai.
You'd give up.
No, you don't reply, so I can't do anything.
What's that? We're sponsoring a football team.
Yeah.
Alright.
I remember this as well, they were playing last week, and Luke said there was playing, obviously the lads had RJ Martindale on, and then the little kids that were on the opposite team had Blush and Blade, they had Sarah's team, they were playing Sarah. I didn't know Sarah had sponsored a football team. So,
that's funny.
I hope we smashed them.
Ryan said that, let me do the Instagram, just let me do it. And he didn't do it, and he's not done one.
Yeah, good meeting there with the team. That was actually about an hour and a half, so we've stripped it right back, but put some of the key, some decent information in there, I think. And to give you some context on marketing, because not many people do, I don't know anybody that actually talks about what they're spending on marketing, certainly in our industry. We're roughly spending 10,500 plus VAT per month at the minute. Okay, that's split between 7.5k with RJ Martindale and just over $3,000 with BHE. $3,000 of that going directly to your marketing agency and the rest specifically to the advertising source, and that is not touching any of the digital stuff in terms of like PPC campaigns. I've not pulled the trigger on any of that stuff yet. And part of the reason is because we could do with the additional work. We could do with the additional work. We've got 10 vans at the minute on the road, plus mine. There's actually 11 vans, and I've got 10 vans that we need to have busy. The marketing that we are doing at the minute, okay, is creating the leads. It's paying for itself. It's doing what it needs to do. When you start going into PPC, Google PPC, any PPC in general, there's a lot of testing got to be done before you can start getting them conversions where they need to be. That's what we've found in the past, and I'm not at this point, cash flow's tight, and I'm not prepared to burn a load of money. And to what Paul always says, there's so much that we can do with our existing database of customers that we're working on. So I'm holding fire a little bit at the minute, and we're just getting all of our other stuff right. But this kind of goes on to, excuse my camera angle, it's a bit all over the show. This leads on to like some of the stuff that the industry talking about being quiet at the minute and they've no work on. Again, I always talk about that Facebook group when I go on it. And they're often, every single day, there's somebody saying they're quiet, and then another person will put on like, what marketing are you doing? And they'll say not a lot, or 500 quid for the year. Like, you've no chance. You've no chance. It's too competitive. You need to have a specific budget every month that you put in directly into getting customers. You can't just rely on recommendations. That's okay during the winter period. And if you structure your business to a point where from September to February, March, you're going to make enough money to tie you over through that summer, then great if that works for you. But if you want a consistent set of leads all the way through the year, you can't be pulling back through summer either. You've got to keep pushing it. And I believe you want to be at least 10% of your turnover. So we're getting close to 1.8, probably 1.8 million over the next 12 months. That's like 180 grand worth of marketing that we need to be putting in. Some of my engineers will look at this and think, Jesus, that's a lot of money, but that is the stuff that keeps them in work. Without that, it's not there. Fortunately, we're in a position where if I did need to pull back on marketing, if cash flow got really tight, and it has been recently over the last few weeks, which I'll get into a bit later on. If it does really get tough, I am in a position now where we can pull back on market spend, maybe £5 a month. Unfortunately, the home care that we've built in the background keeps moving, keeps going. The residual money continues to come into the business, which ties us over. But I want to make sure that the work that we put in now, the graft that we put in now for marketing, just takes us to another level over the next 12 months. And I believe that's why we've grown. I mean, we're up again 30, probably 35% up again on last year. That's not including the new business. Cash flow is much tighter. Part of the reason is the additional team that I've built into the office. They're not bringing any direct invoice, they're not bringing money into the business as of yet, but they're the team that are being built for us to scale. But yeah, back to marketing, that's where we're at roughly. And to be fair to Paul and the team at Ally Marketing, it's probably a £5 a month project for that team to do what they need to do, plus your ad spend. So yeah, to break it down, you've got a marketing agency, okay, and then you've got your advertising spend on top of that. If it's digital, they'll have a cost to run the ad campaigns, and then you've got your ad spend that's coming in, and that could be £2 to £5 a month. Okay, but put it this way, you're not spending 300-400 quid a month or 500 quid a month. You've really got to put in some proper money into it, and to do that then reverts back to your pricing. Are you charging enough? I see so many businesses. I could go on and on about this now, but I was looking at the last company. So when I took over from my original boss, Tony Hesketh, I was 21-ish at the time. I'm 31 now. Okay, so 10 years ago, he was charging 75 quid for a boiler service. There's still engineers now, 10 years on, charging 75 quid for a boiler service. Pretty much everything else has doubled in price in that time, and we're still charging 90, 100 quid for a service. It's not enough, and I understand for the consumer out there that money is tight, but to run the business, to run your business effectively, the pricing needs to be right, and it's a big job that I'm on actually over this week, pricing structures. But yeah, I've rambled on a little bit there. There's a few things to have a think about. So anyway, that's on the marketing side. On the operational side of the business, I'm going in the office now to see the girls, and we're preparing Theo to be out on the tools on his own. So Theo's been with us for getting on for 3 years. He's going in to do his gas, but he's ready to be in a van. And I want him to start doing a lot of the plumbing work that we're doing, reactive jobs and plumbing work, just to gain some confidence. It's a different ball game from being on the tools with another engineer, carrying out a job, to being in your own van on your own and doing that job. Might be the same job, might be straightforward, but that pressure that you've got of a customer is different. And I want him to start getting in the mix now. So we've got the van. I've been holding back wrapping the vans because I weren't quite happy with the design, as you've seen in that last video, but I'm happy with it now. I'll touch on that in the van. But yeah, we're getting this van kitted out, ready for all the plumbing work, reactive stuff, and I want to bring Theo into the office, have a chat with him, and just see where his head is at with this moving forward. See you in a bit. At the CE thing. No.
I've left the message. I'm sure Sue emailed me yesterday.
Situation that we've got here, Dan. So EE, which we thought a contract from BHE had been cancelled completely. So, and the contract total was £2,000 a month. That's what BHE was spending on all the phones when they had 50. How many phones must that have been, Lou? Has she?
She was yesterday.
What
She hasn't received anything from EE. Paul Robinson copied in here, dealt with the EE contract. Hopefully he can help.
Paul Robinson. Right, so I'm going to go back to Paul now and speak to him, because what's happened is we've had credit control from the EE calling us. Bearing in mind the direct debit's been cancelled at the back end of last year, but they're chasing us for Jan, Feb, March, April, May, June.
Yeah.
6 months at £2,000 a month, 12 grand. 12 grand, yeah.
No, this year.
This year, yeah.
This month.
Yeah, 12 grand, so £2,000 a month. But what concerns me is there are 2 phones. Now, there'll have been 50 plus phones on this, or whatever's been on this contract. But 2 of our phones for Stuart and Connor have been live. And after the phone call we had with East yesterday, the phones went dead. So EE might turn around and say, well, you have had 2 phones that are being used. So my argument is that it's not to the value of £2,000 a month, but it's something we're going to need to deal with.
That's not
Because I'm going to go back to BHE and speak to the previous owners, and they're going to need to have a conversation with EE, because I am not prepared to pay £12,000 for an EE contract that we're not using. What else have we had? Another thing we've had is the fuel. So I've been looking at the fuel for BHE. And bearing in mind there's only 2 vans that are on BHE in Lancaster and Morecambe, Stuart and Connor. And the bills were like £600 a month for fuel. Consistently £600 a month. I thought, it's miles off. But the previous owners were saying, yeah, we use this All Stars fuel card or whatever it is. You can use it anywhere you want. So anyway, when that contract came to an end, I killed that straight away and converted them to Pleo cards. So we use Pleo. There's a cost per month. It might be £10 a user per month. But then the engineer or the girls in the office can use the card wherever they need to. The app prompts them to take a picture of the receipt. The receipt then integrates to Xero, so it automatically reconciles, so we've no issue of losing receipts. And in that alone, on our profit and loss, our fuel bill has dropped from £600 a month to £250. Like, unbelievable, £300 a month for nothing. So that's been good. But what I'm getting at is you've got to try and keep these overheads as lean as possible. And when there was a much bigger company, a lot of these stuff, they've obviously just let it run, and they've wasted thousands a month on silly things. So yeah, I spoke about at home getting Theo ready to go out on his own. So here is I'm going to bring Theo in to run this by him. But this is the list of stuff that we need to get done, and I need to make sure that we're right so he's ready to go. First being the van wrap. So currently he's in a white van. We've pretty much finalised the new van artwork. And it's funny because John has said, can we bring the vans in Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week to get them wrapped, which will be another £5,000 plus VAT. But I just want to get them vans wrapped and ready to go. So that's the first thing, get the van wrapped. Tool list, I want to know exactly what tools he's got, what he's not got to do the jobs. Seat covers, van mats, first aid stuff. This is the bits that Warren's sorted out. Hoovers, wet and dry vacs, just to make sure that's ready. House protection, dust sheets, roll and stroll, branded mats, so he's completely ready to go. Any literature, so that's our marketing information, home care information, boiler information. We've got like a great kit now, literature kit put together. I'll show you a bit of that later on. And a routine, basically a protocol to clean the van on a set like routine where they're just on top of keeping that van mint as well as doing the van checks. So that's what we need to do to prepare the van. But then for me to understand what Theo knows, I want to run these bits by him. So a lot of the jobs that we're going to get Theo on and Aaron when he's ready to go. So this is just before the gas safe register. They're qualified plumbers, but they're not quite gas safe. Toilet repairs. Does he fully understand the repairs on a standard toilet, a low level toilet and a concealed toilet? Concealed being like Gebrit, flush plates and just awkward German internals. Does he understand what he needs to do to get that sorted? Has he got the gear for silicone in afterwards to make sure it's mint? Emergency plumbing repairs. Does he understand fundamentally the difference between a gravity system, a pressurised system? So what to do in that situation? It's easy enough to fix the leak, but does he know what to do if the system could potentially airlock or have an issue? Central heating, I want him to draw on here for me. An S plan, a Y plan. Talk to me about how a gravity system works, fully pumped and pressurised. So again, you might be going to just change a radiator, but if it's like an open vented system and he's struggling with a bit of an airlock, how can he backfill that system? Or what does he need to do with an S plan or a Y plan? So this is for me to understand exactly where he's at with that. Taps, changing taps, repairing taps. Do we mess about with a ceramic tap that's dripping? In answer to that question, we don't. We want to replace the tap. We've spent so much time and literally spent hundreds of pounds pissing about with ceramic cartridges and revivers. I don't mess about now. We just change the tap, but it's how you deal with that situation. And radiators, installing compact radiators and decorative radiators. Just want to, he's competent with all this. There's probably a few bits here that I want to know where he's at. And the other thing is basic wiring, like an EPH programmer or a Hive. Is he comfortable doing that stuff? But this here will be great if he can get all this dialed in and get used to that pressure of the customer being there and dealing with the jobs end to end. He'll be flying when he comes to gas safe. And as well as this might be only 2 or 3 days a week that he could potentially be doing this work. And on the other days, he'll be paired up with an installer doing his gas work, installing boilers. But yeah, my job is to crack on with this stuff. Matt finished early yesterday, so he's been cleaning up and tidying the stock room. Oh, here he is, Superman. Yes, Ben. How are we doing, pal? What are you on with today?
Just them. Got some tails and some plasterboard fixings.
Did you sort the, you need a mat in here.
I know. I've only got this seat cover as well. This is just one out of the Fiesta.
Right, remember that, Dan. Seat covers.
It's logged.
Mat. It's logged, yeah. Did them revivers work all right yesterday? Talking about revivers for Siri, the doctor's house.
Yeah, the tap.
Yeah, them Bristol ones.
Yeah, they were just an adapter to take off the normal
They
tap.
went in.
Yeah,
Right, I was a bit worried when I'd seen them ordered because I don't generally like fitting
It
revivers.
was like 1 1/4 inch fitting to 3/4 or 1/2 inch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sound.
Like a bush, if you will.
Yeah, yeah. Right, sound.
I want to shoot this. I've got a Warren waiting.
Have you? All right, pal. Cheers, Ben. Ah, yeah, cheers. Oh. Miles better in here. We're still undecided what to do for our installers and our Spurs lads. I think we want all this stuff moving to the back. Boiler parts, Spurs, service kits, and then this area be for Scott and the installers. So they're right for installation. Got some bits here, look. 37 cents. I don't even know where them radiators have come from. Look at that job that's been cancelled today. That's worth a few quid. Nothing that to commercial lads, but to us that's used to working with 15 and 22 mil. That's how with normal pipe work down. How we in back? Yeah, like just all this loads of stuff. We just need to get this sorted out and organised. It is something that Warren's jumping on because he's pretty much finished with the health and safety, which is great. But we've got a ton of boilers in the back that we need to get rid of. Look at all these. Oh yeah, Matt's been having a tidy up out here as well, which is good. You can see hot boilers. I mean, this, to be fair, is all that. It's probably the last month. There's a fair number of boilers here now, isn't there? Viessmann one. Now the lads have stripped them, but what'll happen is I'll ring Scrapman. I'll get him to pick all this up, and I'll see parts on boilers and want to start stripping them down even further. Let's ring him now, actually. See, I like having transformers out of them. Heat exchanger loops all right as well. What we got? Heat only boiler here. Problem is though, you strip all these boilers, you have all bits in your van, and you just never end up using them. Or you'll order it, but then it goes the other way, the flip side, you'll not keep some will fail, and then you'll need to order it. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Hi pal, you alright? Josh, I've got about 20 odd boilers here in back. Can we get them shifted, pal? Just whenever, really. I just don't want people seeing them I don't normally have this much piled up, but we'll just get them shifted. Yeah, it's alright. No, we'll give them a lift. I'll give them a lift. Someone will be here, yeah. Yeah, sound. Spot on. Cheers, pal. Ciao, mate. Ciao. So he's coming tomorrow, that's good. 111 there. Oh, is that bored out of it? Forklift came down here, still not been fixed. Chris, when Chris used tape boilers, sent little forklift down and they've smashed the hole. He said he was going to get me a plate for this, but he's not done. Need to get a plate for it. Right, we're going to need to get going soon because I've got a quote. I've got a quote to do at a care home for 2 boilers. Washing machines broke at home, so Sarah will go mad because we've got a pile of washing, so I'm going to go and fix that. And then this afternoon we need to help Richard Oldfield. He's a customer of ours that fits bathrooms and he's unsure of the system. He's ripping a bathroom out, he's unsure how the system is. Gives us loads of work, so I want to make sure he's okay. And then whatever else happens. Yeah, Dan? Good. Right, we've just called at Bakewell's nursing home to look at a boiler. It's a good one, this, because when I used to train at David Lloyd and I used to use the office, should I say, I used to use the gym and the cafe as my office, I got speaking to obviously a number of people that were in there, and this particular person, Roger, his dad has always been an engineer and he's just retired. And over the last 6 months, they've given us loads of work. The random jobs that have been appearing that I didn't really know about, commercial jobs and like chains of offices. It turns out they were like shop fitters and they did all that type of work, and his dad was an engineer, so they used to look after the boilers. So I've had all this work come in, and then he's since spoke to me and said, have any of these customers rang? Anyway, I've obviously said yeah, they have, and thanked him, but it just goes to show when I was at David Lloyd, like the connections that you make, whether you're in the gym or just like I say in the cafe, it's led on to loads of work. And in this situation, this nursing home, they've had a contract with what was British Gas. It's been taken over by another company that have looked after it for the last. They've actually tied this nursing home into a 5-year contract to look after all the maintenance, but they've not been doing the job properly at all. Flu's failed, and it's obviously, I'll put a picture on of the flue, and they've actually pulled up the images from last year because they've got images of the boiler after each certificate, and you can see that the flue's obviously failed, and that was last year. So they fired them off and got us in. So it's been good for us. We've already changed one combi that just supplies a kitchen, an unvented cylinder. They want us to change a 30i heat only boiler that supplies an unvented cylinder, and this Valent that's failed, which is a 45 kilowatt system boiler that's connected onto a low loss header. It's got a low loss header setup, which we'll leave that in. So yeah, that should be a good job for us. We are finding now the weather's mega, but the lads are quieter. We've not as many emergencies coming in. So the likes of Matt, he's finished early now. It's 2 o'clock. But he's actually got some gardening tools in the back of his van, and he's tidying up the office because there's sections of the office banking that's all overgrown. So he's cracking on. They've had a tidy up in the stock room. I've just got to my house now because I've got to fix this washing machine. Yeah, so we are a bit quieter on the emergencies that are coming in. But to be fair, the boilers, we're doing all right. I've been keeping my eye on our conversion rate, and it did seem to drop off a little bit. But I've been checking conversion rate on 30 days, so how we performed on the last 30 days and then 90 days. Because what can happen is in that 30-day block, you'll find that at 45 days, you've got others converting. So that 90-day is a decent way of looking at it. And we're about 58%, which is not too bad. I would like it to be 65%. So it's like, what can you do? What inputs can you change to make the adjustment to the output? So where you're just bringing leads in, that's one thing, you're driving your leads in, but what can we do as a business to help make that conversion better? as in like equip Dan with the right literature and how he's presenting himself and how fast are we answering the phone, how quick are responding to the leads, follow up of the quote, all them things we want to get dialed in as best we can. There's a good example, that care home that we've just been to. The company that was looking after the contract, they were supposed to quote the boiler and the repair work. It's now 4 days. The customers needed to chase them and they've still not come back with a quote. You've no chance. Like, we have like a pretty strong rule that if a quote's coming in that day, we want it out ideally within the hour or certainly by the end of that day. If it's running over a day, the girls are on it straight away. They're chasing either myself or Dan. This is if it's not already quoted on site. We've just got to make sure that's out. And then when it is out, whether you're going to win the quote or lose the quote, you want to know how you've performed. How's Dan performed? How's the business performed if we've won or lost that job? In terms of total boilers, not sure exactly where we're up to. We might be at 150 halfway through the year. So we want to be trying to push past 300. I understand it is a quieter time, but we are still up on boilers from last year. I think we're about 15 boilers up. Targets really, we want to be fitting 200 Worcesters, so we get some more support off Worcester. If we can hit 200, that'd be good. And we've also been fitting a few glowworms as well as a secondary option. We used to use backs as our primary. I don't feel the boilers are as good as they were, the old 800s, these new, I forgot even what it's called now, the Combi Thingy 2. Our engineers aren't that keen on it. So yeah, that's where we're at with the boilers. It's a bit like washing machines not working anywhere. Cash. What else have we got in there? I normally have a couple of notes. Anyway. Give them to Freddie. We're going to arcade we're going to bowling in the arcade, so we'll give them to Freddie. That'll do. Keep Sarah happy. No, so when I did this initially, I mean it's 5-year-old this now. Zach, who got into Venetian plastering and like artificial architectural concrete, this initially was like dead light. It was like, what's the word for it now? Subtle. It was like really subtle, but I said I didn't want it to be too subtle. I wanted it to be like a bit grungy. So that's what he did. He made this really dark, and then I said I want liquid copper putting into it, which he'd not done before at that time, and that's what this is, the liquid copper. But because it is like a copper, it's oxidised as well, so it has gone a little bit dull. And over here, it's really oxidised, whereas you can put a sealer on it, but I think that kills it down. So I think what I'll probably do is I'll get rid of that. I'll tile it, because I think it's a bit dark. And this, to be fair, it's a bit masculine like, but it looks all right. Washing machine sorted. Earlier, I spoke about cash flow being tight. Sometimes it may look like I contradict myself, because in one breath I'm saying sales are doing well, we're doing more sales than ever, fitting more boilers, great. But in another breath I'm saying cash flow is tight. Now I'll explain a situation, basically what we're going through at the minute. I'm at home, I've got the whiteboard. Well, there's no paper left, but I'll use it as a whiteboard, and I'll try and give a bit of a run through of the situation that we're in. Now, in terms of cash flow, there's a number of things that can give you issues with cash flow. One of the most common is people not paying you. Now, we are pretty good with that. We don't have much of a lead time. We're really on top of getting paid as soon as the job's complete. There may be a few that run over, but nothing that I get too concerned about. Another situation could be paying your suppliers that really tightens you up. They're two of the most common ones, but there's also another issue with cash flow that we're feeling at the minute. And when you really start getting into your P&L, looking at your profit and loss, it can be a little bit misleading if you're not also on top of the balance sheet. You don't need to get too involved with it, but it's good to have an understanding as to what's going on. And these are hidden costs that don't show on your profit and loss. And I'll explain what I'm talking about. So, to give you an example of a month and roughly how a P&L could look, I can show you a bit more in depth, but most people are probably bored of it. But this is a run through. So let's say we do 100k in sales. We've done 100,000 in sales. Our suppliers and our engineers cost us, to keep it simple, 50,000. And we're left with 50,000. That 50,000 is your gross profit. One mistake that I used to make is I used to think that my engineers would sit in this section, which is the overhead cost. Your engineers are not your overhead costs. Your engineers are the product. They're a direct cost to the business. They should be sat there with your suppliers. Okay, once you've finished that, that is your gross profit, and you want to be trying to push for 50% if you can. I see over in the US and America, they're pushing for like 60, 70% GPs. I can't get close to that, certainly yet. If we're doing 40 to 50% GPs, I'm happy, but I'm always trying to get that as high as we can, so you've got some more fat in the game here for marketing, for your office, for all the other overhead costs. Okay, so, which we'll get onto now. So let's say our overhead cost here is 40,000. So that's these figures here, come to 40k. So that will be made up of fuel, marketing, insurance, your phones, your middle management, which could be the likes of Warren and Dan that are more office-based. To be fair, because Dan is doing more work on the tools, I've got him factored in here. But Warren, for instance, that is doing more of the operational stuff, he will sit here because he's not really bringing much money into the business here. My ladies in the office, Joanne, Catherine, Sue, Louise, they'll sit in here. And also your director's wage, whatever you're paying yourself, whether it's dividends or a salary, that sits in here too. Your net profit isn't your director's wage, okay? That should sit in here. And then what's left after that, in this case, is 10,000 quid. Yeah, and your 10,000 here, that is your net profit. So overall, that's a good month, especially if you're doing this time of year. If you do 100k, you do 10% after you've got a healthy marketing budget. Again, we're looking at marketing budgets upwards of like 6 to 10,000 with everything else. If you've done 10 grand, that's great. Now, this is a situation that I'm in at the minute, which is causing cash flow to be tight. What doesn't sit on your profit and loss is your van payment if you're doing a hire purchase. If you're hire purchasing a van, that sits on your balance sheet. If you're leasing a van, it will sit in here. So you can see it, evidently see the cost coming out each month. If you're doing hire purchase, that 500 quid a month for that van, you do not see on your profit and loss because it is an asset, but that cost is coming in every month. In our case, I've got 4.5 grand a month coming out with van purchases, which isn't shown here. Step further is also the deferred payments from BHE, which are 5 grand a month. So I've got 9,500 a month, not included in this, that is coming out on top of this. So we're left with here, in this example, 500 quid, right? That is if the business is doing well and we make 10 grand. In summer, you might find you're only breaking even. So you don't lose any money, you don't make any money, but you still got the 9.5k to pay. So you could be minus 9,500 per month in a cash flow situation. So that's where it can be tight. So I'm battling with this at the minute to make sure that we're still doing enough, we're doing enough sales, we're making enough money to cover these costs. Now, I did mention in a previous video of my strategy for getting hire purchase vans paid for as quick as possible with the home care. And that always works well, but I'm always over leveraging ourselves. I do it all the time. 2020, 2021, I got the office and the additional vans and Joanne in the office. The year after, I spent more than I could afford on marketing, just constantly over leveraging. This year, in the last 12 months, I've taken on the BHE that's struggling, but I've taken that on. We've taken more people on in the office because I'm always doing it to try and push us on and grow the business. Fortunately, the other angle that we've got now is the home care. So we've got that residual money that is coming in every month. And what you are trying to do is increase this gross profit without adding any additional cost to the business. And you can do that by bringing recurring revenue in, or other ways of doing it is increasing prices and cutting these costs, making them as tight as you can. But I thought this would be a good bit of a good demonstration really as a live situation of what we're dealing with. And if you are hire purchasing vans and you're trying to start get your head around your P&L, just make sure that you've not got any other costs that are coming into the business that you don't know about. Following on from the board there, and I've spoken about it in a previous video, don't be disheartened. If you're trying to grow the business, don't be too disheartened on your net profit, because you might be pushing like mad on marketing and people in the office to grow. Keep your eye on the gross profit. Try and keep that as high as you can so you've enough fat in the game for the rest, like I say, marketing, overhead cost. And what you should be looking at is the percentage to your sales. That should be going up all the time. The way to get that up is increasing prices. So you need to make sure that you're offering more value to your customers. You bring recurring revenue in, so that's a cost that's working in the background without you necessarily going out and transacting every time. So that'll be like your service plans, and that's how you keep that gross profit as high as you can. This is something as well that I've been working on for years, for like 8-9 years, trying to understand the accounts. And I'll be honest with you, I never really had much help from any of the accountants that I had. I needed to learn myself. What I did when I very first started is asked my family business is a Martindale's. It's a double glazing company. They're a massive company, but they've got their own in-house accountants. And initially I started with them, and that was rubbish. They were still using Excel spreadsheets and Sage and Excel and wanted me to type everything up, all your invoices, all your purchases, type them all up on Excel. It was awful. And then I used to speak to all the local plumbers that had decent sized companies in this area, what they used to do at home at night, typing all the stuff up. I thought, there's no way I'm doing this. This was like when I was 21, 22. You could just see there's got to be something out there that's better. So that's when I got onto Receipt Bank, when that first started, where you could take a picture and extract the information. It's common knowledge now, but 9 years ago, probably 7-8 years ago, there weren't many people doing it. Now, I did find a company in Adlington that showed me the software Zero, when a lot of people are using Sage. But when they give me the software, they never taught me how to use it. And it used to drive me mad. So over time, I started reconciling my own bank, doing all the reconciliation. Then you just start exploring the software to see what like your P&L is, your profit and loss, how you can start tracking budgets. Then you lead onto your balance sheet. And it's the fundamentals of that profit and loss that allowed us to grow as a business 100%. I would not be in a situation where I am now without understanding my accounting software. I think it is the most important. The reason for that as well in our industry is the margins are so tight. You can think you're doing well, and then you might have 3 or 4 invoices for a boiler installation that have not been put into your software, and it'll wipe out your profit. So that's why it just forces you to be on the ball with everything. Don't know why I keep pointing like that, but yeah. So if you are a small business and you're like, that is the number one thing you need to be looking at. Again, the margins are too small to not be on top of the accounts. But when you do understand the accounts, you can start budgeting for growth of the business, marketing, more engineers, more vans. Tell you what, it's a warm one today, isn't it? 23 degrees. Paul Warren and Scott, they've been doing a vertical flue in a loft. 29 degrees. Yes, Catherine with England top on. Ready. What time are they on?
5.
Are they?
Yeah.
You need to get a TV in office. Have you? Oh, Bolton. The job that the lads did in the Lake District that I added the additional costing that I went surveying. I'll put a quick clip of that in now. You all right there, Dan? The cameraman's dying. So yeah, Scott went up and we took my Uncle Mick, he actually does fascias and soffits. I say he's a roofer, but he's brilliant for anything. and they've gone and done the flue. But look at this job that they've done. I'll put a picture up. So this is the flue. We've gone through the existing flue here, increased the PRV to 1.25 inches. He's done that little lead flap there to keep it watertight, and a little lead strap. And overall, job's done. Squeezed all the boiler in that cupboard. Job's done, customers buzzing. I think they set off at 7 o'clock, and after 5 hours they'd sorted the job out, so buzzing with that. And I think Scott enjoyed having Nick there for the day. What else have we got? Oh, Alison's messaged us from Here For You. We've done a magazine ad. We've done a magazine ad. It's been delivered to 20,000 homes, and part of the ad is missing. The bullet points of like why you should choose RJ Martindale is just blank. So they're saying it's something to do with our artwork. Our guys are saying it's something to do with a printer not transferring over. But anyway, probably not get many leads from that magazine this month. I've already had a tough session in gym. Let's go again. Yeah, another one. Scrap man's on time, but I'm late. Loading radiators first, I think. We're putting all the rads on first. All radiators first.
Put some variations in.
Yeah.
Size.
Yeah.
I can stack all boilers in them.
Yeah, sound. We've got the big cast iron ones at the back. Might be worth getting them on. They've been here for a bit, then, to be fair. I think we left them last time. Right. No, for now, in terms of what we do with scrap, which probably everybody's wondering, I know installers would generally take their own scrap, weigh it all in, and they'd get a decent butty out of it. But in terms of our team as a whole, our service lads don't have scrap, and the girls in the office obviously don't wear scrap in. So what we do is bring it all together, put it in, we get plats to come, take the scrap, and then the money that comes off the scrap gets put into the business. Stuff like that, stuff like this, the boilers, there's not that much in it. We used to actually give it to Chris over the road. He's gutted, to be fair, but we're finding that they couldn't get it quick and couldn't take it quick enough, and boilers were building up. So we just get plats to turn up now, clear it out. Any money that comes off that, we put it into the business. Unfortunately, pay the tax on it, and then split it between the team over a day out or a night out. Try and do that a couple of times a year, which is overdue at the minute. The girls keep reminding me. So yeah, that's what we do with scrap. In terms of general rubbish, we're fortunate enough that Martindale's, cup that I've pinched off of here, they're a double glazing company that manufacture windows. They have like a bit of a recycle yard. So any general rubbish we put there. It would be great for us and our engineers to have a skip outside, but our landlord basically thinks we'll set the office on fire. And to be fair, it would be unsightly on here. At some point, it would be great to have a yard with our own skip. But yeah, that's what we do. All this strimming the lads have done yesterday. Mega. They were saying the sign were blocked. Ah, yeah. Get up. Beautiful. Just had another disappointing call with a customer that's rang up. It pisses me off, this as well. Customers rang up the girls basically saying, in other words, they don't want to pay for the service because Viessmann have been out. Bearing in mind, we installed around 2020, I think it was 2020 before we moved over to Baxi. We did about 150 Viessmann, and they're having issues now with warranty. Potentially engineers throwing the boilers in, not flushing them out properly, and they're all getting choked up inside, that everybody knows about. But in this situation, we've gone out to service the boiler. This is the 4th service, so we've serviced it each year, and the expansion vessel is flat again. It's not perforated inside, but it's losing pressure, whether it's through the schrader or whatever. Engineers topped it up last year. topped it up this year, but set up a warranty call. Viessmann have come out to it and basically said the boiler's not been serviced properly. The expansion vessel should have been topped up. And basically, he's repressurised the vessel, put a plaster on the situation, and the customer's ringing basically saying they don't want to pay. So I've been pretty straight with the customer and explained to him exactly what we've done. We go, I wouldn't mind, we go over the top with our servicing to a point on Viessmann's where we're taking the plates out, plate heat exchanger, to clean it as part of the service, which is ridiculous. As well as doing the expansion vessel. Now on the Viessmann's, the vessel, the Schrader is at the bottom, you can get a bit of condensation and you do need to pump them through. It's been done twice. And what I've said to the customer, I've explained, if we hadn't have serviced the boiler correctly, we wouldn't have even raised the service call in the first place. But the frustrating bit for me is Viessmann are supposed to be working alongside us as a partnership, not against each other. Engineers are turning up and it's like they're at war with us that are promoting their product. And that's the reason why I've completely killed Viessmann now. We don't install Viessmann boilers. And we moved over to Baxi. To be fair with Baxi, their service has been good, but the product we've not been 100% happy with, and we don't get the support that I think we should have as a growing business, so we've moved over to Worcester. But yeah, mega frustrating. I've sorted it with the customer, I've had a chat with him and I've talked him round and now he's okay. But yeah, frustrating one that. It's Friday again. Good news, the job from yesterday, this is the importance of speed as well, Bakewell's care home. So we went yesterday afternoon to quote this boiler, well the two boilers. I made a mistake in the video actually, I said it was a 45 kilowatt Viessmann, it was actually a 64, 65 kilowatt commercial. But I came back to the office last night and quoted option job 1, which was the installation of a Worcester 30 kilowatt system boiler to work with the unvented cylinder that we've installed. Job 2, installation of a Valent 65 kilowatt commercial boiler to work with the existing low loss header. And job 3 was to carry out a gas safety certificate. The total of the job came to 7,250. Is that plus VAT? Let me just double check that. 7,250 plus VAT, yeah, so the total cost of that job was 8,700 quid. And this morning he's accepted all 3 jobs, which I can just show you here. It's just a brief. So job 1, job 2, job 3. That's been accepted this morning. Now I did want to go out to this job myself because we've done a couple of jobs for this care home and I did just want to meet him personally. But that's the importance of getting the job done and quoted within the same day. Even if it's a bigger job like that commercial job there, you could have easily let that tie over. But I've not, and we've got it sorted and we'll get that job booked in next week. So good result there. We've had a few conversions this week actually. A few boilers that have come in, which is good. Dan's got a ton of air conditioning quotes to do tomorrow, and I say a ton, I think he's got 5, so hopefully he can get them over the line. And I am working on now, I've been to Lancaster at the start of the week to look after, to go and have a chat with one of our contract customers. So this customer has roughly 80 homes covered on our home care plans. So I wanted to go up and meet them. I've not actually met them before. So I had a Zoom call with somebody that looks after like the general manager, and there were 2 other individuals there. One of them was on Zoom just to talk about what we can offer for in terms of home care, because this year all we've done is cover the boilers, and these landlords will prefer us to do something a bit more comprehensive. So that's great. So I'm putting a price together now for all 80 homes across the next 12 months. So it'll be good to secure that. That'll probably come in at maybe £2,500 a month of recurring income that's coming in, which gives me security for my engineers that are over in Lancaster and Morecambe. And hopefully we can get a few more of them over the line. It is now, I'm going to end this video now because we want to try and get it out and not be late. I'm going to go for lunch with my grandma at 12. So yeah, hope everybody has a good weekend. If you found any value in this video, if you can drop us a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next week. Cheers.